Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So we do look at everything, but we take more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they played as karmic themes to help you understand why your person's doing what they're doing. Really important when we're dealing with a karmic because they project a lot of their own spiritual blocks onto us. And then we're walking around from a level of consciousness that is not in alignment with our true self. And that's why, because there's karmic consequences for doing that. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out. It's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. Also, you will find in the description box all important information about anything of relevance having to do with me, like my website, social media links, other, YouTube channel links, free resources, such as I think my TV show link is in there. So you'll find a lot of stuff if you're interested in healing. That's free that you just want to learn. You can just go to my website. But then there's also my services and where I'm going to be and my products and all that good stuff. All right. Now the word of the video is anger. Anger. Ooh, when I tap into someone, I feel like they are so mad that they're like seeing they're just seeing like red. It's like they're so angry, and part of it is it's that they've lost control. They've lost control, and you're not affected. You're seeming like you're not affected, but I also believe that this person's going through it. I feel like they made some choices and those choices backfired. And so nothing is working in their life. So it's not just about you, but you are contributing to this person's misery, I feel like. And it's because you're happy, you're not affected by them. Well, we're going to pull another one to get a little bit deeper, but right away, that's what I felt. Let's see if we can go a little bit different direction with the underlining energy. Determined. Well, it's almost like I feel as if this person is so angry that they're determined to win. Like there's an energy of, oh, you didn't get away. You may think that you got away, but you didn't get away. And 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 so I feel like again, there's this never say die, never give in, never. It's almost like this person is so angry that you took your power back. And I feel like there are other things, like I said, going on in this person's life. It's just they don't know where to project all their anger. So I feel like, unfortunately, it's easier for this person to get more angry at you. And I don't know why. It's maybe because the people that are surrounding them, there's someone that's close to them that's also making things difficult for them, and they really don't feel like they can. And I only say that because there's this energy of, like, when a person goes to work and they have a really shitty day at work, and then they go home and they take it out on the spouse. Well, this is the energy there, that there's a sense that there's other things going on in this person's life, but they're so angry, they don't know who to be mad at. But just because you're like not going to let this person take advantage of you and you're not affected, that they're not in your life, they're so angry. So I just want to put you on hold for a second because I want to shut the door. Hold on a second. I don't want to, I'm just going to pause you a second. Okay, so I decided to pick two new cards to see where this person is right now. I figured since I had to get up, I'd mix it up a little bit with some different cards. Where they are now, what they're thinking, aside from them just being mad. This person like knows that you're not going to use understanding. Like you're not going to have understanding for them. This person knows that they threw the relationship out of alignment. Like there's no peace. And that's really what it is. This person wants to text you, but they don't know what to say. And it's because, again, they sat there and I want to see what they sat there and they didn't do anything. I feel like I feel a connection to you like no other I've ever had. So, like I said, it's like they didn't do anything. It's like they have such strong feelings for you, but instead of giving you the time, they thought that, that you were going to sit on the side, kind of. And like until they were ready to be with you. I don't want to say like almost like put you on layaway, but that's the energy there. I want to get back together, but I'm afraid. So this is where they are right now. And this is why they're angry because they feel like they've lost control and they feel like they can't really even come back to you right now at this time because of whatever they're going through right now. So that's what it is. It's like they want to come rushing in to like tell you because I feel like this person acted like they didn't care. Let's see what your triggers were. Again, because they're thinking that they just didn't give you enough time, where maybe there was more. I don't know. Enough. I feel like because this person was going through whatever that they were going through before they met you. They were a little bit cocky. It's not like they weren't cocky, but they also like had a bad temper and were a little bit disrespectful to you. And I feel like it's because whatever they're going through, they've been going through it for a long time. And I feel like this person doesn't really have the freedom in their life. And so what it is like you had enough of them projecting their bad, what like whoever did whatever to them. Now this person might be going through it with their family, and they may be going through with a job, like I said, or they could be connected to a karmic. We're gonna see, but I don't really feel like it's a karmic. I kind of feel like it's an environment that this person is not happy. And then what happens is every time they're around you, they take it out on you because they feel like they can't say anything to the people. And if it's their job, they don't want to lose their job. If or if they work with family, they feel like they can't say anything. If their family has given them a loan, they can't say anything. Well, they're dependent somehow on the environment. And so, as long as you were in this person's life, they were able to come in and out, which you thought was disrespectful. And then when you would say something, this person would have a bad temper about it because they feel like they can't do anything. And all you know is that you would have the conversation with them, telling them that, hey, like you can't keep projecting your shit onto me. They'd tell you that it was going to change, but you were like, this memory, you just felt like you have already lived through it before, and it's like they continued to do it because they wouldn't fix the problem. So they expected you to kind of like take it, to deal with it because again they weren't doing what they needed to do for themselves, and as long as they don't do what they need to do for themselves, they're always going to stay in a low vibration. They're going to be angry, they're going to feel victimized, they're going to feel as if they don't have control over their life. So they need somebody that's going to emotionally give to them, and I feel like that's not happening. They wanted it to be you, they don't want it to be somebody else. They always thought you were gonna be there. That's the energy. They thought that I'm just gonna like I don't know, let them take a break or just double make sure that you're the one. I don't know why they would sabotage the connection where they wouldn't give you enough. But we're gonna look and see again, try and go deeper. Our love is eternal. It exists in every dimension and cannot be lost. So they didn't feel like they had to. They were like, our connection is so strong. I just always thought that you were going to be there. Like they completely took it for granted. They completely, because it was so strong and it was so, it was like a sure thing, they thought. And really, what they're seeing is it's not a sure thing. This is why they're angry, because they're almost like, you flipped the switch. It's like, and that's really what it is. It's like you didn't flip the switch on them. They're like, I want to let my guard down with you, but fear makes me lash out in self-defense. We have a past life karmic connection and memories are surfacing and it's triggering this person. I know the universe works in mysterious ways, but sometimes I judge the situation instead of surrender to it. Because it's again, the connection is so strong. And they're like, why am I put in this position? Like, if I'm really supposed to be with you, I should be able to like leave. But I feel like they can't because they let their environment influence them too much and they don't even want to be in that environment. That's the irony. And so I don't know why they feel like they have to choose, but this person knows. They say, sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head. At times it triggers me because I wonder how much that you can see into them. And it's like, because because you know that there's such a strong connection that this person would. And what they say is, I need to be strong in who I am before I can merge my energy with yours in the 3D. I'm afraid I can lose myself in this relationship. And that's because they're already lost in other people's connection. What they're realizing from this experience is they don't have enough of themselves, that they're not strong, that they don't know who they are. It's like if they can't leave the environment and the environment is dictating too much of their life and they're miserable, then again, the only solution that they've ever came up with is to have you on the side or somebody else on the side that's going to give them the emotional. But then they can't give because even if it's not a karmic, it's just a karmic situation, they still can't give because the anger is consuming them to the point that it affects the relationship. They take out their bad day onto whoever they're with and expects that person to deal with it. Like, and that means they're moody. So sometimes they're not even showing up at all. So, and it's because they're not strong within themselves. So they know they need to move slowly with this, but trust that they are moving even when you don't see that they are. So this person feels like, you know, they are thinking about it where before they've never thought about it. Because of you, I'm starting to see what is really important in my life. This is what, again, you're making them see. So they may not know that this is a spiritual, like, hey, you're a soulmate or twin flame. They might not know that terminology, but they know you're someone important. And they know that you're someone important because they're looking at their life and they used to be able to live in this environment and it not affect them. But what they're seeing is that they want a lot more. It's that they're living in an environment for whatever reason doesn't allow them to really fulfill them to like really live on their own terms. And that's like I said, they could live with family. They could again, like there's, or it could just be a burden that they put on themselves. I care about you even when I act like I don't. I'm hiding my true feelings because I feel vulnerable. And that's because this person really doesn't know how to even fix it. It's like they want to text you. They want to talk to you. It's like that they know who you are now. They didn't know I feel like they always knew who you were. Don't get me wrong. They knew who you were, but it's one thing to really experience. See, when they first met you, there was a knowing, there was a recollection, like, hey, you feel familiar, but they didn't give it any time. So, and they were like, they just always knew again because the spiritual connection is, I know I'm going to be with you. I know like it's a sure thing. It's like but I'm not ready for that type of relationship right now. So they kind of just kind of put you on layaway, I want to say, and then went out and gave to a lot of insignificant relationships. And in that, it's like you were like, I'm not going to stick around for this. So in that, it's like this person, it's not like they didn't come into your life. They would just come into your life and give you the bare minimum to keep you hanging on, and would pretend that they were busy with other things, even though you kind of knew what was going on and you just detached after a while. You just were like, I'm not. And so now this person's upset because, and they're mad actually because, hey, they're getting pressure. They're getting pressure. I long ago shut down those parts of me that wanted love, romance, and intimacy, but you make me long for those things again. So, like I said, it's like this person was closed off. They were living in an environment where they were closed off, or again, their work, there's something, or the after a divorce, this person could have been divorced and they were still living in accordance to rules that they made due to saying, I don't want to get hurt again. Like they had put obstacles in their way, but I feel like, and why it comes up, by the way, that almost like there's people in this person's environment. It's like it's those ghosts of the past if those people aren't in the environment. It's just that this person is still, mad at that ex-wife, still mad, hasn't healed enough, hasn't done enough. And here's this real relationship that this person knew right away, I know who you are, but I think that they also thought that they could control love. That, well, maybe you're not the best thing. Maybe you're not, because there's no one that's perfect, and if you're demanding time and attention, and this person's acting like it's a problem, well, they also ran around to try and put you a little bit in your place, thinking I could replace you a little bit. I mean, they were a little cocky about that. Now, were they conscious of that? No, but they were not in a place of ready for the depth of this connection. Now that they did all that, they realize and they're uncomfortable. They're really uncomfortable. So it could be, again, the environment or the environment that they put on themselves, again, from past relationship. But either way, they're angry because they know that they have to change. If there's people in their environment that are doing it, they have to break away from that. If it's their old core beliefs, they have to again change. And that means they need to become vulnerable. They need to become strong in themselves. They need to, again, do that. Then this person says, I feel abandoned often by other people. And so, again, they're still carrying the wound around. So, again, that they were married before, they were in relationship before, that person left them, again, used and abused them. So they shut down themselves a long time ago. So even though, maybe nothing is in their way, they're so uncomfortable now they have to that they have to change. And part of changing is making them heal. Are they doing it voluntarily? It's like they didn't initiate the healing. No, the where they are has become so uncomfortable, and you're not talking to them. You're not making it easy for them. So of course they're angry, the next solstice. So figure again, I feel like the spring solstice or the fall solstice, I think it says the next one. So again, the spring, you can expect like an important shift. And I feel like because this person's like at the end of the day, they're holding back. They're the ones that has a choice. They know that you're not going to come to them. You're not. You had enough of their BS. You're like, I need to know that you want this for sure. And I will know that you want this for sure when, you don't keep repeating the same things. You shut yourself down a long time ago, and you need to let your guard down. It's like, otherwise, it's like you're always on guard, you're always defensive, you're always projecting your wounds onto me, and you just expected me to be here and take it. But again, they're changing. I wanted to send you a message today, but I was afraid to. I don't know if you want to hear from me or if I can say the right thing to you. So here it is. Again, I wanted to text you. I wanted to text it. This person thinks about texting you all the time. It's again, they feel the connection like they had no other. They still have that connection, even though that they, again, walked away, ran around with a lot of people. I feel like tried to maybe even replace you at one time. Because again, they could tell that you were being like not putting up with it. They just expected you to fight for your position, I think, or to react or to do something. And I feel like because you didn't, they know that you're definitely the one because they don't really want to be told what to do either, you know? So again, they want to get back together, but they don't know whether or not you'll even tolerate that. The spiritual connection is still there. They feel bad for the lies and the illusions and the mistrust that they created. But, they know what they have to do. They know what they need to do. I need you to know, I need you to trust me and believe I am working towards union with you. So this person does plan on coming back. But they're afraid. They're afraid. They're working through how to do it. They're working through like what they have to do to do it. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be with this person. Sometimes sometimes it's karmic, meaning that this person needed to learn and they needed to learn that you can't put someone on layaway, that you can't take your bullshit out onto other people, like that there's consequences for that. Or you may forgive this person, and maybe that's a spiritual lesson for you. Maybe you need to learn how to forgive, and so spirit brought you someone like this. Who knows? We're gonna see how you feel about it, or the person in this story. Again, but a lot of times it's just the universe says, I don't really care whether you're going to be with this person or not. What I care about is whether you learn the spiritual lesson. And this person is learning the spiritual lesson. So that's all that the universe cares. If they happen to be with you, great, the universe says. If not, I don't care. Understand that you always have free will. You always have free will, and that's a choice. So again, some of you people will, and some of you people won't. It's a collective. It's a coin toss. Like Spirit says, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to pull a few cards. Again, that's Spirit saying some of you will, and some of you won't, and some of you don't know until the person comes back and understand that. And if it's real, you'll know because you'll take this person back. But either way. It's like spirit saying it's like there's a 50-50 chance. It's unpredictable. Can't decide at this time. To like again, there's choices. Take a chance. So it's like spirit saying it's like you just want to be fair with yourself. And I think you don't know and you won't know until like you get a sense of this person because again of how they treated you, and that's why they're mad. They know that they have to come to you and they have to be different. Whether or not there were people there, there are, and they're still carrying around, it doesn't matter, is what Spirit's saying. Spirit's saying is that they have an obligation to do it. And we see what are they doing now, aside from being mad. Again, their behaviorisms. Well, again, this person is trying to find their voice, I feel like. And so I feel like they're talking about it, the situation to maybe friends, to other people, like to try and see again whether it's important enough. Again, they have to break old habits, new habits, and that's looking at their life, changing things in their life. Um, and they have a lot of anxiety. So what we see is a lot of reflection, a lot of just a lot of reflection, a lot of healing, a lot of, trying to find out like what type of relationship and maybe how to come back because this person's afraid. But we know that they're using their voice. So if they're using their voices, that they're talking about the situation right now, and they're talking to with friends or maybe again a family, relatives, as anybody that they would feel comfortable because it's like they don't know what to do. They don't know how to approach the situation. They want to call you all the time. And I think also maybe just for moral support, sometimes when we talk to, when we really want to do something, but we're afraid, we need a friend to like push us. So I feel like they're getting encouragement. And that's also helping them to realize that they are going to come back to you. Like I said, it's a 50-50 choice. So even though this person comes back, you don't need to take them back, but we still need to understand why did you attract this person into your life? Because there's still lessons to be learned. And that's again all that the universe cares about. The universe doesn't really care whether you choose this person or not, just cares whether you're learning, whether you're healing, whether you're evolving into the highest states of consciousness, whether you're, restoring your energy back to the energy of unconditional love. That's what the universe does. The universe is always bringing us people, situations, experiences to help restore us because when we're born into the karmic families and the environments, it creates blockages, and you have those blockages too. And we're going to look at them through the inner child wounds right now. First card out, there was no safety and security. You were suppressed. Love, there was a lack of love or feeling loved. Guidance. I feel like you didn't have the guidance, obviously, if there was no security. It was organized chaos. So you could have grown up in an alcoholic family or an abusive household. One, two, three, four, five. I'm going to pull one more, and that's friendship. So you depended a lot on your friends. I feel like for your love and your support, but I always feel like this friend is not really a friend. It's more like a friend of me. And so at a very young age, because there was no security or safety, you relied on your friends a little too much, and you taught them that that you weren't on the same level as them almost, not purposely, but because you would run to their house and they knew about all your problems and they came from a very stable home, a lot of them, they began to look at you the way that you feared instead of really for who you truly are. And that could have been they looked at you as needy. They looked at you as like problematic. They looked at you as always having problems or just always sad, always depressed, always worried, always fearful. And no one wants to be around that energy. So it began to make you feel bad because you felt like you weren't loved. That's what happens when you're in don't have it at home. There's no stability. So there was no stability. So again, a child's going to look for the answers outside of themselves, but they don't realize because they're not getting that love and that attention. There's no support. They have to rely too much on people to get it because they feel like they don't have it. And that could be, not be even eating at a person's home every day. If there was no security, no safety, then and you didn't want to be around there because emotionally you were suppressed, because you had to live in accordance to that environment, well, then you would be relying on, like I said, friends for everything, including food, including other things. And so it becomes like you're needy. It becomes like you're an obligation. And people begin to take advantage. They are like, well, I do all this for you because you need it because you don't have it at home. So you should do all this for me. And the relationship becomes more of like, again, like a frenemy instead of a real relationship where the relationship was built on love, trust, and innocence. It's not over time because of the lack of love and support. It's like there was organized chaos, meaning, yeah, there was parents that worked, but if the parent was alcoholic or they lived in where the parents there was a trauma bond connection that where they're always fighting, codependent, one parent's not getting any emotional support, the other one's checked out. Well, again, the house will function because everyone goes to work, but everybody's miserable. And the child then is growing up in an environment where their needs aren't getting met because the parents' needs aren't getting met. One parent's not even showing up. The other parent is like so angry that the burden's on them. So like there's not enough love, and that's where the child doesn't feel safe. So they continue to create that. And so they begin to shrink themselves smaller and smaller and smaller till they're not seen, because it's so crazy. There's no guidance, there's no support, there's no security, there's no love. Again, so you look for the answer outside of yourself, the next best thing. And, but as I said, then after a while, the parents of those children began to look at you the way that, people were looking at your parents, because your parents weren't showing up for themselves. So they felt responsible again. So you took on the burden of that, how people began to see you, like almost like you were a charity case, like we should do it. And then again, more like a frenemy instead of what it should be. And so this is why you attracted this person. It was that you didn't build enough of yourself, because you're not your trauma. If there was no security, you have to create that security for yourself. You have to reparent yourself. And that's by becoming yourself. You got a person that didn't know how to show up, that wanted you to compromise yourself, that projected a lot of their anger onto you. Well, you grew up with a parent that one parent was checked out, and they projected all their anger onto you, because that's what people do when they don't heal. And so you unfortunately began to live very small, suppressed yourself, because hey, like every time I'm seen and every time I do something, it's always wrong, it's always triggering, I'm always seen as bad, I'm always seen as, and so Spirit says clearly you were conditioned to live from a lower state consciousness, like you were not deserving of, and but you are. Again, you have to heal, and part of healing is not to get into a relationship with somebody that is not strong enough. They don't even have an identity. And Spirit says, so you don't have enough of a new identity of yourself. So understand you're a warrior of light. Use your passion to fight for what you believe in. It's again, which I feel like is what you're doing, that live authentically and boldly, unafraid to be yourself, live out loud. Spirit is saying again, be the warrior of light, rise above, see beyond your immediate fears to get more insight, elevate your perspective. And that only happens through living authentically and letting your passions guide you, looking beyond the illusion. Take bold action. Why? This is the most important, because through taking bold action, you get to see yourself differently. You get to take big steps that push you out of your comfort zone. And that's why when you take bold action, and that you go beyond the illusion, because you see who you truly are. But understand it doesn't mean that there's not the fear there. There is the fear because you were conditioned in an environment to be fearful. But Spirit says, but you're a warrior of light. Like, stand for what you believe in, be true to yourself. And what you know is that this person didn't give you enough, so you gave to yourself. And live authentically. Don't be afraid. But rise above it, meaning look at the situation more through the lens of love. Because this person does have love for you. It's that they were fearful. They shut down parts of themselves a long time, and understand it's all about opening your heart to the new, where true growth occurs. Again, that's during the separation. Spirit saying is that you still have growing to do, but it's more through playing. It's more through finding yourself. It's more through, because once you begin to find yourself, you begin to meet more people, you invest your time in other things, so you won't give too much to this person. And it's not because you shouldn't give to this person if you choose to give to this person, but you don't want to teach them that you're always available for them and make the same mistake. Like, where, again, remember, you didn't get the security, you didn't get the love growing up. So you would go into the relationship over giving. So Spirit says you can't do that. And you'll do that if you don't find other passions. if you don't take bold steps in different directions and live authentically and true to yourself. And that's what you're doing in separation, where I believe that the person that's connected to you is not in a happy place. They have to make the decision to again choose themselves, whether there's people in their environment or not. It's like this is something that's very fearful for them. They have to say, I choose to be in love. I choose to choose me. I choose to believe that I can be loved. Remember, that's not easy for a person that shut themselves down a long time ago for this intense connection. So, Spirit leads us off with one more message, which is inner strength. Nothing moves you from your path to the light because you have complete confidence in yourself. Realize your innate qualities and abilities and know that with God, you can do anything. All the power that you need is within yourself. And so it's a time to grow yourself inside strength. When we're strong within ourselves, that's what inner strength is, then people can't manipulate us emotionally. They can't, we're not going to mold to the environment, regardless of what the environment does. And that's what Spirit says. I need you strong within yourself. So you become yourself because every person that you deal with that gets close to you will try to emotionally manipulate you at one point. It's just human nature. Come on, please, please, please. We can't feel bad. We like all the time, but it's hard, especially when it's your children that's doing it, or your parents that's doing, or that person's doing it. So Spirit says, I need you to be strong within yourself. Don't mold to the environment. It's like when you grow up without the security and safety, you'll always want to be the healer. You always want to be the fixer because you had to do it for yourself. So there's a little anxiety like, oh, well, I have to do it for other people. Allow people their unfoldment process. Don't be there doing it because you'll teach that person they don't have to do it. You need to create more of a life for yourself. So you won't be like lead through your like impulses because you got to think you were conditioned in an environment that love was transactional. Remember that. You lived that way. So there'll be a sense of wanting to do it, and Spirit says you can't. It's like you'll create the same exact experience, which you don't want. Live authentically, be you, find yourself, find other elements in you. This person's coming back, and they will come back at the divine time. And you'll be able to figure out then when you want to be with them. And until then, just be true to you. I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.